Thanks for your company. Look forward to seeing you next time on The Chase Australia.
Tonight, bombshell allegations.
I'm completely sickened and devastated.
State Labor expels an MP's senior staffer charged with child abuse-related crimes. Also, a Marden mother's night of terror, face-to-face with a masked intruder in her bedroom. Unfinished business, former Adelaide crime boss Vince Focarelli's plea to come home. On with the show, Wavell to become a COVID vaccine hub amid finger-pointing over SA's slow rollout. Happy 100th birthday, celebrating the world's second oldest Air Force. And the secret to Taylor Walker's success, the small tweak that's made Tex lethal in front of goals.
Live from Adelaide, 7 News with Jane Doyle.
Good evening. A state MP's advisor and a senior corrections officer are tonight behind bars charged over shocking child sex abuse material. Parliament House was raided in the bombshell investigation, and today Labor sacked the staffer, booting him out of the party.
Handcuffed, Ben Waters is escorted to prison, a far cry from the corridors of Parliament, working as a trusted advisor to Nat Cook.
I was shocked when learning of these charges.
The 38-year-old was arrested after raids at Parliament House and at his home. It's there police say they found a USB containing large amounts of child sex abuse material.
I am completely sickened and devastated.
He's been charged with producing and possessing the exploitation images. Today, Labor moved swiftly, sacking Waters and booting him from the party.
As soon as I was made aware of the charges, I took immediate action and advised the Department of Treasury and Finance and requested that his employment be terminated.
Waters' co-accused was also a public servant, a 37-year-old corrections officer who has been suspended without pay. A court order bans us from revealing his identity. His charges include indecent filming. It's alleged he used a hidden camera to film adults and children naked inside a northern suburbs house. While Waters wants to be released on home detention bail, the corrections officer made no such application. He'll stay behind bars until his next appearance in November. Police say both men were arrested following ongoing investigations into a pedophile. Lauren Rose, 7 News.
An intruder wearing a skeleton mask has terrorised a mother at Marden in the early hours. She woke to find him at her bedside. He demanded the keys to her car, then stole a handbag.
A mother and son relieved they survived a terrifying early morning ordeal.
Glad you were there to help.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Rebecca Mulsarad woke at 4:30 a.m. to find a masked man in her bedroom demanding car keys.
He chased me into the ensuite bathroom and I told him I couldn't find my keys and he took the handbag from me.
He's pulling it, then he gets it, he stands up.
Handbag.
So she's calling for me to call the police.
It was scary. I thought he was going to hit me, but he didn't. So all he said was, "Give me your keys."
Rebecca and Owen ran to their backyard and raised the alarm. The intruder dumped the contents of her handbag onto the floor, but didn't realise the car keys were in front of him. He panicked and left with the handbag, but dumped it nearby.
He was wearing a black hoodie, black pants, and he was wearing a mask as well, black mask. I think it had a skeleton on it, and he was wearing black gloves as well. Yeah, it was pretty scary.
Rebecca believes she knows who the intruder is because her house keys were stolen a couple of months ago.
I think he just let himself in with a key. There's no sign of any break-in. We didn't hear anything.
She has this message for him.
I'd say you're a complete bastard for doing that. You're not going to get anything out of it anyway. You're going to get caught. Quit while you're ahead and turn yourself in.
Peter Caldecott, 7 News.
The country MP who plunged the Marshall government into minority status has fronted court for the first time. Fraser Ellis says he'll fight almost 24 deception charges relating to travel allowance claims.
Confident and resolute ahead of his first date with a magistrate.
So I know that started and getting what I do.
Fraser Ellis, just 28, a first-term politician in the fight of his life. charged by the state's independent watchdog ICAC with 23 counts of deception involving 78 fraudulent claims for the country member's allowance, totalling almost $20,000. In a nutshell, the member for Narungga on the Yorke Peninsula allegedly claimed for nights that he didn't spend in Adelaide. The explosive development was dropped in the early hours of a parliamentary sitting. Today, Ellis's lawyer told the court they'd already received a substantial amount of information from the DPP and negotiations were continuing. Ellis's next appearance in court is for what is known as a pre-trial conference, a confidential hearing between the prosecution, his lawyers and the magistrate. Ellis has since resigned from the Liberal Party, is now an independent and sits on the backbench of a minority Marshall government and claims as a relatively inexperienced politician any error in a claim form was simply that.
Innocent until proven guilty, and I'm certainly intending to clear my name in the fullness of time.
He'll return to court in May. Deanna Williams, 7 News.
A woman was trapped in the wreckage of her overturned car for almost an hour after a nasty smash near Victor Harbour this afternoon. Police say her Ford Falcon clipped an oncoming ute and trailer, then flipped and slammed into a tree on Inman Valley Road. Emergency crews had to cut the 37-year-old driver free. She's been airlifted to hospital with a serious arm injury. A bitter blame games erupted over the slow COVID vaccine rollout, with one local expert slamming it as abysmal. Amid revelations more than half of South Australia's doses are sitting in storage, authorities are vowing to ramp things up with new vaccination hubs.
No matter how you spin it, SA's vaccine rollout is slow going.
And if we carry on at this rate, it will take us 3 years to vaccinate everyone. So we've got to ramp it up.
But the Prime Minister insists
it's not a race, it's not a competition.
Scott Morrison said there'd be 4 million people vaccinated by the end of March. They're 3.4 million short.
Figures obtained by 7 News show that of the 56,500 doses delivered to South Australia so far, just over 25,000, or 45%, have been administered. The Health Minister's pointing the finger at the feds.
The fact of the matter is we've got erratic supplies from the Commonwealth. For example, this week we're expecting to get 7,000 doses. 14,000 doses have arrived. That does make it difficult for us to plan.
It's chaotic.
But the rollout is about to get a boost. Used as a COVID testing site at the height of the pandemic, the Adelaide Showground will soon house a major vaccination hub.
Particularly focusing on frontline health workers, police, MFS and the like.
Once the Showground clinic is fully operational, it'll have the capacity to vaccinate 3,000 people a week. It's expected to open by the end of April. Elise Baker, 7 News.
The woman who recorded the harrowing final moments of George Floyd's life has taken the stand. During an emotional second day of the police officer's trial, one witness broke down while recalling the traumatic scene.
His killing witnessed by the world. Now witnesses on the street that day are giving evidence against the police officer who pinned George Floyd through his final minutes alive and beyond.
I believe I witnessed a murder.
Trained in martial arts, Donald Williams told the court he recognised Officer Derek Chauvin's hold on Floyd as a kill or blood choke.
You called him a tough guy.
I did.
In fact, he berated Chauvin during those lethal minutes.
Those terms grew more and more angry. Would you agree with that?
They grew more and more pleading for life.
Testimony too from the paramedics stopped when she tried to help Floyd.
When you couldn't do that, how did that make you feel?
Totally distressed.
Were you frustrated?
Yes.
The 17-year-old who recorded the phone video that fired global protests teary as she told jurors George Floyd could have been her dad or her brother.
I stayed up apologizing and apologizing to George Floyd for not doing more.
This just 2 days into evidence here, and the trial is expected to run for weeks. A verdict is not expected before late April. In Minneapolis, Tim Lester, 7 News.
America's border crisis shows no signs of improving, with heartbreaking scenes inside overcrowded detention centres. For the first time, Joe Biden allowed cameras in where record numbers of migrant children are being held.
Packed in plastic tents, children shoulder to shoulder, playing and sleeping under foil blankets. This is the reality inside Biden's border facilities.
I'm a father. I don't want to see that. As a Border Patrol agent, I didn't sign up for this.
1 in 7 at this centre, COVID-19 positive, allowed one phone call every 48 hours as a desperately overloaded system struggles to process their asylum requests.
We're way over capacity. We're like 700% over capacity.
If they look intrigued by the cameras, it's because this is the first time they've been allowed in. A surge in arrivals after Joe Biden reversed a key Trump immigration policy.
We'll place them in a raft and say, okay, go. And only God knows what happens to them while they're coming in on that journey. They know that we're releasing them. They know that right now there's nothing stopping them. We're not going to deport them back to their countries.
Relying on US authorities to reunite families on the other side.
The other little girl that I was talking to, I said, do you have a phone number of where you're going so that we can establish contact? She said, I lost it in the river before I crossed.
Cartel-backed people smugglers, emboldened and exploiting the most vulnerable.
For whatever reason, they have fallen through the system or through the cracks.
Ashley Mullaney, 7 News.
Back home, it was a campaign that made us feel good about South Australia. SA Great lifted spirits and boosted business. Coming up later on Flashback, how the campaign was born and its lasting legacy. South Australia's quest to lead the country's space race has kicked into overdrive. Hundreds of the brightest minds in the known universe have touched down for the largest space forum this city's ever seen.
Space, the final frontier, yet it's never been so close to home.
People are happy to come to Adelaide because they know it's the Houston of this side of the world.
Prime Minister Scott Morrison joined hundreds of industry insiders at the Australian Space Forum, showing off some out-of-this-world technology. Local firm Fleet recently launched 5 of these satellites. It says more than 100 others will be built here, sending South Australian space jobs skyrocketing.
I moved from 2 people to 50. Now we have to hire 140 people more just in the coming year.
But it's not all about spacesuits. Much of what's being developed in SA and being sent into orbit has important on-world implications and is attracting global attention.
They are bringing big business problems that they need solving to the space tech community here in Adelaide to solve.
There isn't an aspect of our lives that isn't impacted on a daily basis by the ability to have satellites look down at us.
And it's got the next generation keen to shoot for the stars.
We all call Australia home, and to have the technology and the space agency and the forum like today is just amazing.
We are attracting some of the best minds from across Australia and internationally.
And while so much of what's on show today will ultimately benefit us here on Earth, there are plenty of eyes set on the moon and beyond.
This is us partnering with our friends at NASA, and certainly it's my personal ambition to see Australian hardware on the moon, or at least in orbit around the moon.
The PM also cut the ribbon at the new Space Discovery Centre at Lot 14. Tim Hatfield, 7 News.
A spectacular show in the skies above Canberra has marked 100 years of the Royal Australian Air Force. Decades of military history took to the sky in a show of pageantry with a special message from the Queen.
In perfect formation, the prowess of the Royal Australian Air Force showcased over the nation's capital, including older aircraft from World War II to mark a century of service. The Air Force presented with a new Queen's colour by the Governor-General.
The celebration of 100 years dedication to the defence of Australia and its values and of service to its people.
The flag a symbol of the Queen's trust in the service, honouring 350,000 Australians who've served and more than 11,000 who sacrificed their lives.
It is the people, not the equipment, that have built the Royal Australian Air Force.
After the Australian Flying Corps, the RAAF launched in 1921 with planes used in World War I to lead Australia's air missions in every major conflict since, and in times of crisis. It's an impressive display from our Air Force that has protected this nation for the past 100 years, and the next century promises new technology and new challenges to safeguard future generations.
This is the pledge that we make to the Australian people. Then, now, always.
Olivia Leeming, 7 News.
Time to check on what's coming up in sport with Soda.
Well, Jane, Ash Barty is on the verge of solidifying her spot at the top of the tennis world. We'll tell you how she's travelling at the moment in Miami. We catch up with Tex Walker, who reveals the secrets behind his red-hot form up forward. And on the eve of the Sandful season, the reigning premiers are looking to create a little bit of history despite losing a bunch of players to the very top level. And some of those young boys that got drafted are already making their mark at AFL level, which is fantastic.
Great news indeed. Thanks, Soda. Former Adelaide crime kingpin Vince Foccarelli has been living in exile. Why he wants to come back to Adelaide exclusively on 7 Next. Also, a woman kicked and stomped on in what police are calling a hate crime. Virgin Galactic's sci-fi dream close to becoming a space tourism reality. And a little later, an airfare bonanza, how you can get on board a cheap flight.
7 News brought to you by Industry Super Funds.
The police can't help themselves. My super doesn't work out for me. I'll be working forever.
Well, we've worked all our lives for this place. We'd hate to have to sell it to fund our retirement.
That's for sure.
Authorised by B. Dean for Industry Super Australia, Melbourne.
When I became the very first champion of Dancing with the Stars, my kids weren't even born. They are so excited that I'm doing it again. Who would have thought I'd be back here 17 years later with my kids cheering me on? I'm back. Let's see if I can win that mirror ball again.
Beck is back. Dancing with the Stars All-Stars. After Easter on 7.
Looking for a huge meal? Grab the legendary Subway footlong.
Get your Woolies worth with Everyday Rewards. This week, spend $20 on fresh meat in a single transaction and collect 5 times points on your total shop. Boost online now, then shop and scan your card. T's and C's apply.
That's why I pick Woolies.
Stratco is revealing the biggest big sale offer ever. Take home Stratco Outback and Pavilion patios and receive up to $1,000 cash back with HSBC Finance. Terms and conditions apply. So, you bring the dream, Stratco will bring the how-to.
It's the Michael Hill sale, and you just can't go past all these shiny new things. But these offers won't last. With hundreds of reductions in store and online, you'll step into autumn with plenty of shine. Michael Hill.
Get that holiday glow, even without the holiday. With new Olay Super Serums, it goes 10 layers deep into your skin to bring out an even glow from within. New Olay Super Serums with vitamin C.
I feel like going back home right now while
This Easter, let's celebrate all the little things that make time together great. The backyard barbecues, kitchen creations, and everything in between. Coles, value the Australian way.
Sub. Turn it out. Yep. Whew. That's a lot of food. Turn it out. Subway. Eat fresh.
He's survived 6 attempts on his life and witnessed his own son being shot dead. But former Adelaide gang boss Vince Foccarelli says he's turned over a new leaf. 4 years after he was kicked out of the country, he now wants to return and says authorities would be mad not to let him in.
Boom. This is Vince Focarelli like you've rarely seen him.
The thing is this, right? I'm more than reformed.
It's been almost 4 years to the day that the former Adelaide crime kingpin was forced into exile. Now, in his first Australian TV interview since fleeing to Malaysia, he's told 7 News he wants to come home.
Do I want to come back in Australia? Yes. Would the government benefit from me? 100 million%.
He survived 6 attempts on his life and served more than a decade in prison.
Lived it, I've breathed it, I've eaten, I've seen it. I've done 11 and a half years of prison in my life.
But that, he says, is all behind him, thanks to Islam. His new life mission is mentoring young people as he works to right the wrongs of his past.
When I show the bullet wounds, I'm not bragging, they're there. You know, I've been shot point blank range for 4 or 5 different occasions. It's the reality of things, because I lived that life.
They call themselves Sahaba MC, a motorcycle club, but nothing like the kind Focarelli says he once led. They market themselves in this style to attract troubled youth.
What attracts them? Is it that gangster look? No problem. Here we are. Call us friendly gangsters? Not a problem. We're not bikies. We're just a brotherhood that's trying to, a Muslim brotherhood that's trying to give back to the community.
Now he wants to take the program global, starting with Australia.
It's not just for the Muslims, it's for the Christians, and not just for the young brothers, it's for the sisters as well. Whoever we can help.
For now, though, he's caring for his terminally ill mother, who joined him in Kuala Lumpur. But he had to leave his wife and 2 kids behind in Adelaide, though. Now he has a new wife and a new perspective. He's even at peace with the man who murdered his stepson, Giovanni, in an ambush in 2012.
This sounds cliche because it's me, but at some point in time we have to let go of Vince. Focarelli's still been a criminal, you know.
He'd better not get his hopes up, though. The Immigration Department says the door remains shut.
Do I want to return to Australia? Yes, not a problem. And chances are, if God wills, that you'll see me there soon.
Elspeth Hussey, 7 News.
A New South Wales Nationals MP accused of raping a prostitute has quit State Parliament. Michael Johnson identified himself as the MP in question, but has strenuously denied any wrongdoing. Reports surfaced yesterday that Johnson had sent lewd text messages to the sex worker while he was in question time and offered money for her to come to Parliament House for sex. His resignation has triggered a 4-way by-election. Security cameras have captured a disturbing hate crime attack in New York. A man can be seen kicking a 65-year-old Asian woman to the ground, then repeatedly stomping on her head. Police say he was yelling racist remarks. When witnesses tried to chase him down, he pulled out a knife. President Biden has responded, ramping up efforts to address anti-Asian crimes, calling such violence wrong and un-American. The victim suffered head and pelvic injuries, and her attacker remains on the run. In chaotic scenes in Britain, large crowds have flouted social distancing rules on the days restrictions eased. Hundreds of young revellers took celebrations too far, drinking and brawling in Nottingham.
You feel good, you see people around, you see friends that you know, and you're like, my guy. How you been?
But Europe's 3rd coronavirus wave is threatening Britain's newfound freedoms. Some hospitals in France are so overwhelmed by mutant COVID strains, they're forced to choose who to treat. It looks like something out of a sci-fi movie, and it could be the next leap in commercial space travel. Virgin Galactic is about to begin testing the VSS Imagine, while a SpaceX competitor hit another snag.
The sleek future of space exploration, the VSS Imagine, Virgin Galactic's latest attempt to blast into space tourism.
It will take you to space. It'll actually tip upside down and let you look while you're weightless through these big windows in the ceiling.
An out-of-this-world view Virgin will charge $330,000 for. It soon hopes to open up seats on board Imagine for tourists and researchers, but first, more tests.
The spaceship is going to start ground testing first.
and then it will start with its test flight program in the summer.
The craft is the third in Virgin's spaceship class. It builds on the fatal VSS Enterprise disaster in 2014 and 2 successful Unity voyages, which will again take off this year. Richard Branson himself will be on one of those flights, set to rocket 80 kilometres above the Earth's surface. But the race to open outer space to the world hit another fiery hurdle today for Elon Musk's SpaceX. Chalking up another failed landing for his Starship prototype, the billionaire's 4th botched landing, but still managing to find the positives, tweeting, "At least the crater is in the right place." In the United States, David Woywood, 7 News.
Back home now, and our warm weather's set to roll on as many make the most of this week's sunny evenings. Amelia's one of them, and we only have a few of them left though, Amelia.
Jane, we do. On Sunday, clocks go back an hour as daylight saving ends. So by this time next week, it'll be much darker here at the beach. But there's perfect conditions this week to make the most of our beach weather. If you do come to Brighton here regularly, you might know the work of the local artist behind us here, Sue Norman, who's trying to beat the tide tonight. When COVID hit last year, all her paid work dried up, but then she was flooded with requests from beachgoers who love the mandalas she makes on the sand here so much, they wanted her to make their own so they could dedicate them to family and friends.
So they gave me commissions and that was lovely because it made a gift, a unique gift that it was mainly for people overseas, gifting to them for anniversaries, birthdays, memorials.
This week, Sue created her 400th mandala in the sand near the jetty, and she says she does it because it brings joy to a lot of people who see them. Now, this long weekend's forecast is set to spark joy in a few people as well. I'll be back with all the details a little later. Jane.
Thanks, Amelia. The Prime Minister used his trip to Adelaide to fast-track his billion-dollar plan to build guided missiles in Australia. That's next. High anxiety, the death-defying thrill-seekers taking risks to new heights. Later in Flashback, remembering the catchy campaign that helped make SA great. And block by block, Australia's largest Lego exhibition is taking shape.
Hello, Sarah Jane. 65 years of age, and you have the best outfit here.
Thank you, big brother.
If you're just going in there intending to win the game, you're not going to win the game. You need to have humanity.
I'm your friend.
I might be the oldest, but I have an opportunity to prove to people that you can all put yourself outside of a comfort zone and fly.
Oh man, this is such a long way away.
Welcome to my new house, SJ.
Bring it on.
JB Hi-Fi's Easter Madness is on now with crazy deals, like a ridiculous 40% off Sony headphones. Over $400 off this massive Samsung 75-inch 4K TV. $250 off the latest Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra 5G phone, and stacks more. JB, you've done it again.
The kitchen's moved from being just the place where you cook meals to being really the central hub around the house. Somewhere where you can actually use as an office. The kids can sit there doing homework, and then the kitchen can be an art gallery. Somewhere where you can entertain. The kitchen's really become a place where life happens. So your kitchen needs to be designed to suit your life. We have the range and quality to help you do that. Because Bunnings kitchens are made for real life. Bunnings Warehouse! Shop at Bunnings wherever you are, whenever you want.
Introducing free chef-quality cookware from Coles. For every $20 you spend in one transaction, scan your Flybuys card to earn 1 cookware credit.
That's the way to cook like a pro. Coles. Value the Australian way.
Let me be witty, let me be foodity in every state and city. How about let you do a double take? I don't need your money, I don't need your credit. I'm a superwoman, I let you watch me fade.
Life skills and confidence for kids, to me that's big.
A workplace that really cares for its apprentices, to me that's big.
Giving artists a chance to share their stories.
Local jobs for local kids, to me that's big.
Getting good food to where it's needed the most, to me that's big.
The people in South Australia's great outback, what a place to live.
And to have support for things
that make it even better.
To us, that's big too.
There's nothing more natural than change. Change helped you grow, to discover. Sure, it isn't always easy, but change has the power to excite, to refresh, to move us. It could be your first front door, or baby's first room. And the best thing about change, if you don't like it, you can always change it. Change starts here.
Driving a lemon? Turn that lemon into something sweet with a Police Credit Union car loan. With an amazing rate of 3.99% and comparison rate of 4.25%, it's easy peasy lemon squeezy. Visit Police Credit Union today.
While the PM was in Adelaide, Anthony Albanese was spruiking the opposition's revived electric car policy that crashed at the last election. The government's backed the same technology but questioned how Labor plans to pay for it.
Reflecting on the wonders of space, a fascination for kids young and old, finally finding reason to smile.
What's your name? Jenny. That's a good name. I like the name Jenny.
His announcement fast-tracking his already announced $1 billion plan to build guided missiles in Australia.
This is all about ensuring that we have the capability to do what we need to do to protect and defend Australia's interests in our part of the world.
The future is here right now.
A future Anthony Albanese says he's plugging into by promising to make electric cars cheaper, exempting them from import tariffs, saving $2,000 on private vehicles and dropping fringe benefits tax, slashing $9,000 a year on company cars.
In a decade's time, you'll struggle to walk into a car yard like this and find something that's not an EV.
Having attacked Labor's electric vehicle policy at the last election as a plan to force tradies out of their utes, the government now has its own plan supporting them.
That's good technology.
But suggests Labor's policy rollout, paid parental leave, manufacturing, now electric cars, is getting expensive.
They spent $30 billion in 2 days. Imagine what they'd be like if they had 3 years.
Closing Labor's national conference, Anthony Albanese is confident he'll get that chance.
Together we will give Australia the government it needs and deserves, an Australian Labor Party government.
Mark Riley, 7 News.
Thrill seekers have taunted police by performing an illegal high-rise stunt in full view of their Melbourne headquarters. The group made a dawn dash 300 metres up a skyscraper under construction before posting their risky prank. Construction company ProBuild said tampering with its worksite endangered staff and the public. Dinosaurs are being brought back to life in a blockbuster display set to dazzle fans young and old. A 6 million-piece Lego display is set to open in Melbourne, recreating the iconic Jurassic World.
From harmless herbivores to a terrifying T-Rex, dinosaurs brought back to life by Lego.
As soon as I walked into this, I was just so shocked about how amazing it was.
A team of building enthusiasts have spent more than 13,000 hours recreating scenes from Jurassic World. A real treat for movie fans and Lego lovers.
I know there's a few fans of both that are coming along, so hopefully the two together, hopefully it doesn't make their brain explode.
All up, the exhibition contains 6 million bricks.
All of our models that we've made are 3.5 million bricks, and then 2.5 million bricks is what people get to play with.
No detail has been spared on these models. This Velociraptor took 460 hours to complete, with 6 people using more than 58,000 Lego bricks.
I love the Jeep, how in the rearview mirrors there's a dinosaur coming to eat you. I think they're really scary.
Jurassic World by Brickman opens at the Exhibition Centre tomorrow. Estelle Grey-Pink, 7 News.
Does look astonishing. It was a catchy campaign that captured pride in our state. We'll look back at what made SA great after the break in 7 News. Also, how South Australians can make the most of cheap flights around Australia, and Aussie athletes dressed for success, our Tokyo Olympic uniforms revealed.
He did the
unthinkable.
What's the plan?
Different wig for every day. Here I am on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, my favourite.
I like it because finally your hairstyle has caught up to your personality.
Now, Luke Beveridge drops in on the front bar tonight, 8:30 on 7.
When your life changes, your insurance should too.
Whenever it does, we'll be here for it.
Yui, you insured.
Barocca, energy to help keep you on.
Get your woolies worth for Easter with thawed medium cooked Australian tiger prawns. Prices drop to just $22 a kilo.
That's why I pick Woolies.
Get back on the road again. Buy the advertiser today, scan the QR code and enter for your chance to win a year of free fuel worth $5,000. And you could be a lucky winner of a $150 fuel voucher. Only with the advertiser. Conditions apply.
How's that for serenity?
Can care be better at home?
Oh, it's a sanctuary. Your home's a bit of a sanctuary. Yeah, for me, rehab at home, it gave me a huge amount of flexibility to be able to do the things I wanted to do. It allowed me to unstress and be in the moment in your house in your own comfort zone, which was really good for me and my state of mind.
Search Medibank at Home to see how we're creating better choices for our members.
Get moving, Australia. New Cocoa Pops Golden Gaytime flavours here, with a delightfully delicious toffee chocolatey taste. Try new Cocoa Pops Golden Gaytime flavour, just like a chocolate milkshake, only crunchy.
Nature's Way Beauty Collagen tablets enhance collagen formation deep under the skin where beauty creams can't reach. Nature's Way Beauty Collagen gives your skin back its youthful bounce, glow and radiance.
On Flashback tonight, the campaign's designed to give us pride in South Australia. From its Our State Mate to SA Great, they helped boost confidence and build business.
Winners are important. They make us all feel proud.
The state needed some sort of injection.
It was a campaign that buoyed the state, but SA Great wasn't its original name.
SA Great started as It's Our State Mate. It's our state, mate.
Started in 1979, it was the brainchild of 5AA founder Peter Benson, who wanted to attract more marketers to Adelaide to test their products.
SA Great began with the media and a small group of businessmen. It is now a joint effort between the media and over 100 private enterprise companies, plus some government support. Wherever you see the SA Great sign, the company behind it is helping to promote pride and enthusiasm in South Australia.
They were happy to wear a sticker on the back of their car, or use the logo on their letterhead, or wear an SA Great tie.
PR veteran Darryl Warren was SA Great's chairman in the mid-80s.
There was a sense of togetherness about it, and a sense that we were doing something to help the state.
If you did your job a little better today than you did yesterday, you've done something to help make SA great. Put all our achievements together, and there's no telling how great this state can be.
It lifted spirits and generated business.
We had the SA Great Awards, which were given to good South Australians. It's
Great to be here and great to see SA Great in full fighting force, honouring achievement in South Australia.
Whether it would work as well today, Daryl's not so sure.
Nothing wrong with state pride at all, but I just think that an organised campaign would not take the way that did back in those days.
Ah, the memories. A judge has described rogue Porsche driver Richard Pusey as the most hated man in Australia. Disturbing new details have emerged of what he did moments after a crash that killed 4 police officers. Rather than help the victims, the 42-year-old shot video of the dying officers on his phone for 3 minutes and 8 seconds. He ignored a witness's requests for help. He's the first person in Australia to face the charge of outraging public decency, so it's unclear what sentence he faces. There's some good news if you're in need of an interstate getaway. Half-price airfares are available from midnight. And regional carrier Rex is now offering twice-daily return services to Melbourne. Don't miss the details ahead in 7 News. The Australian Olympic Committee says it hopes to have all athletes vaccinated in time for the Tokyo Games in July, but can't guarantee it. Either way, our teams, whose uniforms were unveiled today, say nothing will stop them going.
Behind the scenes at this morning's uniform launch, reality struck. An Olympics of symbolic human triumph is happening.
There hasn't been something where all the countries in the world have been able to unite and bring what the Olympics actually means forward, and I'm just so excited to be a part of it.
The Aussies will compete in gear designed for Tokyo's stifling summer, predicted to be the hottest ever games.
To represent my culture, who I am, myself and my family on the biggest stage of all, it's mind-blowing.
Still, COVID cases rise in Japan and the AOC stands firm on a policy not to jump the queue for vaccines.
Everybody who's involved in this rollout still remains confident that we will be vaccinated in time for Tokyo.
I'm 100% so excited to go, vaccine or not. I'm happy to get on that plane and compete.
And from the dozens of athletes we've been speaking to for many weeks now, that attitude is unanimous. They want to go and be part of the most anticipated Olympic Games there's ever been. They might not march in an opening ceremony, won't have families there, and won't complain about any of it. Modern pentathlete Marina Carrier's parents are planning a street party for their daughter's first Olympics.
I'm just hoping that there's going to be a big viewing party and we could have a reciprocal camera arrangement where I can see you guys watching the TV.
And now, just 114 days to go. Matt Carmichael, 7 News.
It will be an extraordinary event, whichever way it runs.
Fingers crossed, Jane, that it gets here. I love the Olympics.
Yeah, it's going to be fabulous. And, of course, you'll see it here on 7. Now, Taylor Walker's revealed the keys to his stunning start to the season.
It's been pretty good, hasn't he? He's had a couple of bags, 6 and 5 goals over the past couple of weeks, sitting on top of the goal-kicking ladder. I don't think anyone would have picked that a couple of weeks ago, so great work by Tex. We're going to find out why. Also coming up, the Crows women request a return to the site of their most famous victory. Our reigning champs, the Eagles, plan to rewrite the SANFL history books this season, and the Reds bolstered for tomorrow night's top-of-the-table clash against the Mariners.
Your Easter weekend is about to kick off. Get ready for 7's Easter Footy Fest. Nice! Thursday, Lions and Magpies in a massive start. Then a Good Friday SANFL AFL doubleheader. And Saturday night, the Eagles host the Power. Leading to Easter Monday, Cats and Hawks. And with the AFLW finals, there's only one place to be. The Easter Footy Fest starts Thursday on 7.
Nature's Way Beauty Collagen tablets enhance collagen formation deep under the skin where beauty creams can't reach. Nature's Way Beauty Collagen gives your skin back its youthful bounce, glow and radiance.
Life happens, and you can't always see it coming. That's why Bupa's here, because double bouncing will always be a thing. Because it's not just waves that break. Because small print is always on the menu. And because every chance deserves to be celebrated. We'll be there when life happens to give you the cover you need and the service you expect. Bupa, because life happens. Join today.
Fast Movers SA recognises South Australia's most innovative, smartest and fastest growing businesses, and nominations are now open. If your business is growing with a turnover of 200,000 plus per year, you could win your share of absolute game-changing prizes and create great connections with other industry leaders. Enter at fastmoverssa.com.au, then celebrate the top 25 with us at Adelaide Oval.
You can't beat Mitre 10 if you want terrific advice at a great deal.
Like Waddle ID Advanced Paint, just $91, or Bloodstone Safety Boots, only $54 a pair.
That's mighty helpful, Mitre 10.
The gold price has never been higher. It's time to sell your unwanted jewellery and gold. Adelaide Exchange Jewellers, always paying cash for jewellery, coins and precious metals. Adelaide Exchange Jewellers, where gold is sold.
From the fields up north to the oceans west, we comb the land for the food that's best. Taste buds to tickle a whole state to feed. Homegrown goodness, that's what we need. Everyday low prices, any time of year. Trust the mighty South Aussies. Great food lives here. Foodland, the mighty South Aussies, yeah.
This sport report brought to you by Foodland. Great food lives here.
Hello again. Well, as the footy world marvels at his resurgence, Taylor Walker has revealed the secrets behind his recent run. The 30-year-old believes a new AFL rule is on his side, and he's made a game-changing tweak usually reserved for footy's smaller players.
McInerney, Lloyd runs into trouble. Tex wraps him up. How did he get rid of it?
If you're wondering when's the last time you saw Tex tackle like this, well, you haven't.
Oh, I'll go through my AFL career, I haven't done that. Go back to broken heel, I don't think I've done that.
A quartet of forward 50 holding the ball decisions, which you'd expect to see from the game's mosquito fleet, resulted in 3 goals for Adelaide's all-time leading goal kicker, proving you can teach an old crow new tricks.
To get 3 or 4 tackles inside 50, I was over the moon, but I've got to do it again now so it doesn't look like it was a fluke.
Also helping Tex and the game's forwards is the newfound space provided by the man on the mark rule. It's given the big boys and their delivery men a bit of room to move, and Walker's conversion rate of close to 70% doesn't hurt.
That's what I get paid to do, so I've done a lot of work on my set shot routine, and finishing your work allows us to win games. We didn't do that on the weekend, and if we did, we could have won the game. I could have won the lotto too if I bought a lotto ticket, but unfortunately I didn't.
Just like the lotto, with footy, there's always next week. The Suns touched down in Adelaide yesterday morning and had a closed training session today. They're fresh off rolling the Roos.
We need to slow them down. Obviously they want to maintain possession quite a bit, so we can replicate what we did against Geelong 2 weeks ago, our ability to pressure them and hit the scoreboard off that. I'm sure that'll give us a great opportunity to beat them on Friday night.
Theo Doropoulos, 7 News.
He's doing very well. Now, Port Adelaide believe its ability to develop talent will be compromised due to the Sandford's decision not to adopt many of the AFL's new rules. The club has written to the AFL highlighting the differing rules the Port Magpies have to deal with, including the medical subs, standing the mark and third man up at ruck contests. They said the Sandford has disregarded the National League's position on the sub rule. Well, 7 News understands Bombers restricted free agent Zach Merritt is weighing up his future at Tullamarine. The 25-year-old's attracting significant interest from rival clubs. Well, tomorrow night, right here on 7, it's the Lions and Pies at Marvel Stadium. Injuries have hurt both sides, with Brisbane losing ruckman Oscar McInerney. 2 changes for the Pies. Chris Mayne's in. Livewire forward Jamie Elliott's out with a broken leg. And 7 News understands the Crows have put a request to the league to play their AFLW prelim final at Adelaide Oval. They're awaiting a response as they make the most of a week off.
We've got a few sore bodies, so just take this week a bit easier. Had recovery night on Monday night, and then a big session tonight, and then we'll probably train on Friday morning, and then the girls have a couple of days off and then head into a bigger week next week.
Adelaide plays the winner of Saturday's qualifying final between the Demons and the Dockers. Reigning SANFL Premier Woodville West Torrens is aiming to create club history this season. Despite losing key players to the AFL, Jade Sheedy's boys are looking to go back-to-back for the first time. Here's Seven's John Casey.
With 6 different premiers in the last 7 seasons, the SANFL can lay claim to being the most competitive football competition anywhere in Australia. But this year, the Eagles are out to buck that trend. Premiership midfielder James Cheetah says recruiting former Crow Riley Knight and other big names has the Eagles primed, despite the loss of 5 premiership players to the AFL.
Knight is going hard in the midfield, really explosive. He'll have a big year, and the Menswells are really dangerous up forward.
VFL and Northern Territory standout Dane McFarlane is another exciting Eagles prospect.
McFarlane! What a ripper!
The Eagles are also getting the job done off the field, their leadership announcement generating plenty of interest. South Adelaide has also lifted its fan engagement, sharing rare inner sanctum access.
Probably not as good as you think you are. You come with the attitude like you did today.
The Channel 7 goal of the week, taken out last year by new Crow James Rowe, returns in our weekly SANFL segment every Wednesday. The Eagles-Sturt clash kicks off Channel 7's live SANFL coverage for 2021. The game gets underway at 2:30 on Good Friday.
Yeah, good on your case. Can't wait for that. Now, the Reds will welcome back Tommy Urich for tomorrow night's top-of-the-table clash with Central Coast. Socceroo striker hasn't played since scoring a hat-trick of penalties against the Mariners close to 6 weeks ago.
We might maybe pushed him a little bit too hard at the beginning and asked too much from him, and we've now allowed him that time to get himself up fully fit, and he will travel to Central Coast and will play in the game.
Urich will start on the bench. And Ash Barty is just 1 win away from retaining her world #1 ranking. The defending champ needed more than 2 hours and some of her very best tennis to see off Arina Sabalenka in 3 sets in the quarters of the Miami Open. Barty will now play Alina Svitolova for a spot in the final. And English galloper Jens Sir has ended ZM's 4-year unbeaten streak at Oakbank. The pair had a thrilling duel down the home straight in today's Von Duser steeple.
They drive to the line together. Jens Sir and ZM. There's a narrow margin in it, I'm not sure.
Yeah, Jens Sir will not back up in Saturday's Great Eastern at Oakbank. And Jane, that is our look at sport. Hamish Hartlett will be on tomorrow night. A little whisper too that one of the Redbacks' very best will be hanging up his cap tomorrow for good. That's it.
Interesting. Thanks, Soda. Now with a check of the day in finance, here's Gemma Acton.
Thank you. After a lacklustre start to the week, Aussie shares finally caught a break today, closing out the final trading day of the quarter higher at 6,790 points. Shopping centre operator Unibuy Rodamco Westfield was the biggest mover. That's after it signed a deal to give its retailers access to customers of Europe's largest online fashion platform, Zalando. The Aussie dollar has fallen back below 76 US cents, while gold is slipping further away from $1,700 US. And 72% of city workers in Australia would prefer flexible working to stay after the pandemic passes. That puts us right in line with workers from other countries.
Thanks, Gemma. A new round of cheap flights is about to take off. How you can get on board, that's next in 7 News.
And weather-wise, the Easter long weekend's now looking a little warmer than first thought. I'll have all the details up next, plus tonight's ray of sunshine, an extra special delivery to the women's and children's.
I'm assuming this is your spew?
Their excuses are as bad as their driving.
That's gross.
Highway Patrol. Drivers behaving badly. Tonight on 7.
If your floor tiles are looking a little dated, this weekend is a great chance to bring them back to life. So let's make it happen. Come into Bunnings and talk to us for some expert advice. For this job, we'll be using paint, primer, roller and brushes, masking tape, some sandpaper, cleaning products and safety gear. First step, clean the tiles down and use a toothbrush to clean out any grout. Then, lightly sand to roughen up the surface, clean up and mask up. Now it's time to prime. Once the prime is dry, then it's time for the top coat. It's always best to do 2 coats for the best finish. We've gone grey, but the choice is yours. So there you have it. We'll help you make it happen this weekend. Shop at Bunnings, wherever you are, whenever you want.
For me, the best way to get the best seafood this Easter is from Coles, Australia's best sustainable seafood supermarket.
Coles Tasmanian salmon portions, skin on, just $24 a kilo.
Coles, value the Australian way.
South Australia's best odds to become an instant millionaire is back. The MS Game Changer Lottery is your chance to get a millionaire makeover, and we've got 2 to give away. Yes, 2 lucky grand prize winners will become instant millionaires their way. So, will you choose the Metricon home and land package and build a home fit for a millionaire? Or pick the cash for a cool million in the bank? It's up to you. There's more. Give your next holiday a makeover with the Super Early Bird Prize. A trip for 2 around the world, flying business class, of course. Or take home $25,000 in cash. And our early bird winner? They'll drive away in a brand new Mercedes-Benz EQC. Every ticket sold helps us make a life-changing difference for South Australians living with multiple sclerosis. So go on. With the best odds in the state to win big, which millionaire makeover will you choose? The last lottery sold out early, so don't delay. Get your tickets at msgamechanger.com.au.
With an endless supply of natural gas, you'll never have to stop doing what you love. Like slow cooking a whole pork loin, around and around and around.
It's easy to forget about your roof until something goes wrong, and then it can be a major hassle. But not if you call Right Price Roofing. Right Price has all your roofing needs. Re-roofing, roof restoration and guttering. Right Price Roofing can also build your carport or veranda, so it looks great, lasts longer and won't cost a fortune. Trust Right Price Roofing to get it right. Right choice, right price.
Get the price right at Right Price.
Congratulations, you are now officially homeowners.
We think Susie's a con artist. She threatened me.
Be careful.
I am so onto you.
Like a caged animal,
You're not getting away with this.
she'll strike back. Home and Away, next up on 7.
This Win Report brought to you by Right Price Roofing. Right choice, right price.
If you're in need of an interstate getaway, then there's good news with half-price airfares available from midnight. This comes as regional carrier Rex begins twice-daily return services to Melbourne in what's another big win for travellers.
The arrival of a new era in domestic travel. And the start of a price war.
We will make a huge impact on the price of services between destinations, and, to be frank, that's a really positive thing.
The first ever Rex flight between Melbourne and Adelaide landing this morning. These passengers paid just $69 for a seat.
The price, it was very competitively priced.
Really good pricing, so can't complain.
It's always great to have extra options, and based on today's experience, we'll certainly be booking Rex again.
In another win for those desperate for a holiday, half-price airfares will go on sale tomorrow. From Adelaide, you'll be able to fly to almost every corner of the country on the cheap. Among those eligible are direct flights to Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, the Gold Coast, Perth, Darwin, Alice Springs, Canberra and KI. The only catch, you'll need to travel before September 17.
It could be $200 to $300 saving on certain fares.
800,000 airfares will be available from midnight until the end of July. The advice from the airlines is to get in early because they're sure to be popular.
We're excited about it. We reckon the phones will go crazy from tomorrow morning onwards.
Tim Yateman, 7 News.
Time now for more on the weather, and Amelia's down at Brighton tonight. We've got more beach weather ahead though, Amelia.
Jane, we certainly do. We're set to move into the 30s from tomorrow through till Saturday, but it's not bad tonight either. It's currently 25 degrees in the city, although it is around high tide too, and that's washed away the beautiful mandala created by local artist Sue Norman here this afternoon. She crafts a few here near the jetty every week. Earlier today, we hit a top of 28 degrees, but it comes after a cool start. Our low was 13.5 just before 8 o'clock this morning, even cooler at Narracourt, down to to 4.3 degrees, with early fog featuring again about the lower southeast this morning, clearing for a dry and sunny day as a high pressure system over Victoria keeps conditions stable. It'll head east and reach the Tasman Sea by the weekend, bumping temperatures up a little ahead of a low pressure trough. Interstate and a hot one in Perth tomorrow, up to 35 degrees there, 27's the top for Melbourne and Hobart, with a shower possible over Sydney and Brisbane. Back home, we've got another dry day ahead statewide tomorrow, up to 34 degrees in Port Augusta and Murray Bridge, 33 for Ceduna, 30's the top for Port Lincoln, Kadina and Mount Gambier, 31 for Clare and Nuriutpa, 29 for Victor Harbour and Kingscote. In the city, down to 18 degrees overnight, bit warmer than this morning, then more of that sunshine's on the way, 31's the top. On metro waters, east to northeasterly winds below 10 knots, becoming west to southwesterly in the afternoon, with seas below half a metre. Looking ahead, up to 33 degrees Good Friday, a warm night into Saturday, then a top of 32's on the way, ahead of a slight change, so a fraction cooler east to Sunday, 28, 26 east to Monday, warming back up next week. And before I go, let's take a look at tonight's ray of sunshine. It was an excellent morning at the Women's and Children's today as a special visitor hopped around the hospital.
What do you say?
Happy Easter, happy Easter, happy Easter to you. Happy Easter, everybody.
All the kids well enough to have some bunny visit them receive some chockies or a toy. So an extra special delivery there, Jane. Hats off to everyone who organised it behind the scenes.
Indeed, and I like the concept of a hoppy Easter. That's all the news we have for now. I'll have updates through the evening, but for the moment, from the 7 News team, good night.